I would say welcome to the Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus, but there's nothing to be welcome about right now. Here we are once again out of the playoffs. Team didn't play well, had a chance to do well. Now we have to talk about it. Well, just because we have to talk about it, that means you got to listen. We'll be right back.
I'll have the langoustine lobster ravioli.
For you, sir?
The original call was for langoustine ravioli. Langoustine is a tiny kind of lobster. Slight shellfish allergy rules that out. Plus, my wife ordered the langoustine. I will have chicken tenders and tater tots.
If you're a ref, you way over-explain things. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico.
Sir, we don't have tater tots.
It's what you do.
I will have nachos.
We're going to figure out a way to compete the last 4 games. We got a competitive locker room in there. So that's just what we're going to do. We're going to figure out a way to compete against the Chargers next week and take one game at a time and go from there.
We're 5-7, not where we want to be, but we also understand all the injuries and the challenges we face this year. We're professionals, and we all are being evaluated every single game, every single practice. So while people on the outside may not view it like we have a lot to play for, we on the inside do. It's our job and it's important to us, and we'll be professionals every single day, and hopefully finish this season strong, put a good taste in our mouths, and I think there's a lot that can be done in the month of December to walk away from this season feeling really good about where we are as an organization and where we're headed.
So I think at this point we just have to continue to keep competing, keep playing for one another, because when it gets to this point where you're out and you just have to stay together, keep competing, can't give up, keep fighting, and just continue to have that winning attitude.
How tough was this, knowing how important this game was to this team in making the playoffs?
This game, we knew coming into the game, we knew, right? We knew already, all week long. We talked about it, we prepared for it, and we knew what was at stake for us. But like I said, it's just unfortunate that we wasn't able to pull it off. But have to continue to stay together, keep fighting and competing.
Now, when you're offensive player, you have to hold on to the rock. And, lately, the Washington Redskins haven't been holding on to the rock well at all. It's been something they worried about with their return game, their running game. I mean, they need to hold on to this rock. So, Gary, I have a question for you. Crowder's been playing well, been catching the ball well, but on punt returns, he's had a big problem. So now, do you think that he's too tired to keep this being a punt returner as well as catching the ball? Should they take one of those duties away from him? And what can they do for the rest of the season to help him get better at both?
Hey, Tony, that's a great question. Jamison Crowder, I think, is the best receiver on the team this year. I don't think you take him, I don't think you remove him from returning punts. I think that's something that would mess with his psyche, would hurt his ego a little bit. I think what you do is you make sure that he prepares himself better the following weeks to be able to return the punts the way we know that he can return the punts. And again, sometimes you have games where you just drop the ball. I've been there. Other receivers been there. Some of the best receivers in the league in NFL history have had games where they dropped the football. Jamison Crowder, in my opinion, is the best receiver on the team this year. I think he will bounce back. I think he had a couple of games ago, he had a great game. I expect Jamison Crowder to make a comeback in a big way, without a doubt. You do not do anything with Jamison Crowder. Just let him get his game back the way that he should be, and he'll be fine. Trust me on this.
Yeah, that's right. I do a little decorating during the holidays. And you know what? Since they couldn't hold on to the ball, maybe they need to do a little decorating. Now, you put this here and you make it tight so you can hold on to it. That's what they need to do with the ball, but not holding on to the ball is everything. What I need to ask you, Don, is the offensive line had 38 yards. I mean, the offense running the ball. And now a young man that we got rid of had over 140 yards. Now, you think Jay got away from the running game too quick? Or was there ever a running game? Now, when I go back into my imagination and my memory, it may not be that great. But I haven't seen nothing of a running game. You did have 2 100-yard games in a row, but all year hasn't been that great. So what can they do as they're preparing for next year, because there's no playoffs coming here, to get that running game better?
Hey, Tony, you know, all season long the Redskins have had problems running the ball, but the offensive line had some major problems with injuries against Dallas. I mean, they had Moses to go out, and they had other people, all this switching around where a lot of the people weren't comfortable. But even before all the injuries, this running game just does not really exist for the Redskins. 38 yards is not going to get it done. 'Tis the season for Santa to send some people to be able to run the ball. And I think the Redskins, for the most part, went away from the running game. In this offense, they've got to be able to run the ball to open up the passing game. So for the Redskins, you look at the other end with Dallas. Alfred Morris. Remember Alfred Morris? Yes, the Alfred Morris that was here had, I think, 157 total yards. They got it done. The Redskins did not. And a lot of people are going to say it's because of the injuries to the offensive line. Nope, before the offensive line had those major injuries, they still could not run the ball. So, Tony, go back to your decorating.
Let me clear one thing up. I did make a mistake. Alfred Morris did not have 140. He only had 127 yards rushing. Mike, this team is 5-7 now, out of the playoffs again for another year. What can they learn from this? We know one thing about them. Sometimes they're a good team, sometimes they're a bad team. They don't always get it done. And I just want to, oh, what'd you say? Oh, this cell phone is like Mike's. Oh, Mike. All right. I just want to know, what can they learn from this? I mean, we've been learning the same lesson for years.
You know, Tony, that is a great question. And I think if indeed they tank against the Chargers, it's an opportunity for the Redskins to take a look at some of these young players that have been getting some playing time. I really like Chase Rouillet. I think he's the future center of the Washington Redskins. Big kid, 6'4", 317 pounds, rookie out of Wyoming. I'm real high on Tyler Catalina, right guard, 6'6", 325, rookie out of Georgia. I love Monte Nicholson. I think he's your future safety. And in addition to that, Jonathan Allen has yet to prove himself, but I think he's going to play a little bit the last 2 games of the season, and I think we're going to see the promise that was there in the first round of the draft. Also, everybody seems to like Brian Quick. Maybe we'll see more of him. And everybody was high on Jeremy Sprinkle. Here's a tight end who can block. Let's see more of him. So, yeah, I mean, if they lose against the Chargers, Tony, it's a great opportunity to see some of these younger players. And they'll draft in a little better position next year. And I think they've got the core of players, both offensively and defensively, if they can re-sign Kirk, to be a real contender next year. Now let's get to Adam. Adam, there's been an awful lot of discussion about fourth quarter fatigue. We mentioned it a little bit on the show last week, but also on the Redskins broadcast this week it was alluded to. Is it conceivable, not just the players, but does this exist among coaches as well? Are they fatigued? Are they not on the top of their game? Do they let down? Are they not as creative? Can some of this blame be put on the coaches as well as the players?
Well, I would say so, but the most important thing to me is when you're on defense and the defensive side of the ball, you have your best corner on their best receiver at the end of games. Simple as that. Because at the end of the day, your best are going to go against their best. That's what you want because you play to win. And I don't think we see that enough.
Were you deflecting?
Yeah.
Because, that is a very political type technique.
No, absolutely not.
Where I ask you one question and you go somewhere else. Are the coaches letting down?
Yeah, I think they are. I think in terms of
I love it when you talk that way.
They have matchups that they don't play the best matchups. So, yeah, I would say they are.
Yeah, Donna will have an
needs
opportunity to answer that in the next segment because definitely that's something that needs to be explored. And I'll mention that to you, Tony. Ask Donna about who covers whom in the next segment. We'll be back. Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Hire a Veteran Challenge and Live Show. It's coming up on Monday, December 11th, 2017. It's got a hiring fair and live show. Join us for Tony McGee as he hosts his second Veterans Job Fair as part of his show, Pro Football Plus, with Charles Mann, Dexter Manley, Santana Moss, and Gary Clark. Celebrating more than 30 years of broadcasting excellence, Pro Football Plus is an excellent platform to gain positive exposure in the local area. Meet qualified veterans, transitioning soldiers, and their spouses. In order to get involved, call this number, 703-282-0792. If you're a business and you want to be part of this job fair, this is the only place to go.
Hey, welcome back to the show. And you know, I want y'all to meet Mac right here. This is the guard dog of my house, a really tough dog. And you know, when I put him on a job, he gets the job done. Now, when Darrell Green was with the Washington Redskins, they used to put him on the best receiver. And Gary, I got to ask you this. Now, they did not do that with the Cowboys. And, you know, we got Josh here, who is supposed to be our top receiver, but they kept putting Breland on him. Now, Breland did a good job, but we could have Josh Norman did a better job. So now I have to say, what were they thinking? Why did they not do like the Washington Redskins? When you give a command, Gary, you're supposed to follow. Get him, Mac. Get him.
Wow, Tony, that's a good question. We did. Darrell Green followed everybody around. If the best receiver on the other team, Darrell took that receiver. But I can see it from Breland's standpoint. He probably thinks he's the best defensive back on the team. It's kind of like the posse. Like, you couldn't tell Art, you couldn't tell Rick, you couldn't tell myself that we want the best receiver on the field. So I can understand why he wanted to get that done. So that's a tough call. I mean, I'm kind of confused because if I'm Breland, I want that challenge. Unfortunately, he didn't win that challenge.
Well, you know what, Don, I always give you a chance to throw them up under the bus. The defense has given up 30 or more points in the last 4 games. They seem to get tired at the end of the game, can't get pressure. I know they've lost Allen, they've lost Foster. But do you think that the reason they've been losing these games is because they lost people, or is that just the talent of this team?
Yeah, Tony, the Redskins defense has given up a lot of points in the last few games, 30 plus or so, 180 some. But they have been hit by the injury bug to a certain degree. I mean, you lose Jonathan Allen, he's your big push up the middle. But other than that, some of the other positions, they have key people in those positions. But it's been some breakdowns in the last 3 weeks or so as far as missed assignments, tackling, which has killed them. I think if you look at those 2 areas, that's where the Redskins defense has had the breakdowns.
You know, Mike, as you take a look at how many yards the Washington Redskins have given up, and not just the other day, 162 on the ground, 182 on the ground. You can't do this and win games. And I tell you, this has been going on all year. And I look at all the injuries and how the Skins can fix the running game. Now, the one problem they have is they have a fix they need to do on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. You tell me what you think this team can do. And now we're looking in retrospect because they're not looking at the playoffs, so they're looking to improve. Have to improve the rushing and stopping of the rush. What can they do?
Yeah, I mean, Tony, it seems like it's been an ongoing problem for several years now. But, and this gives special emphasis to the need to re-sign Zach Brown. Can you imagine that running game that the opponents have up the gut? Can you imagine what it would be like if Zach Brown wasn't there, having Will Compton go down and Mason Foster? Mason Foster was a big contributor to the middle part of this defense, and I think we see that. So, again, Ryan Anderson's going to have to step up next season in that middle linebacking core. If not, you've got to go back in the draft, and you've got to get yourself in the 2nd or 3rd round a really good linebacker. But they've never been able to shore that up, and with Mason Foster gone, it's a sieve.
Yeah, I just saved a whole lot of money by switching to Geico.
Huh. We should take a closer look at Geico.
You know, Geico insures way more than cars, boats, motorcycles, even RVs.
Geico insures RVs? What's an RV?
The thing we've been stuck on for 5 years.
Wait, I'm not a real moose?
We've been over this, Jeff.
We're stickers.
I'm not a real moose.
Give him some space.
Deep breaths, Jeff.
What's a sticker?
Take a closer look at Geico. Great savings and a whole lot more.
Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Hire a Veteran Challenge and Live Show. It's coming up on Monday, December 11th, 2017. It's got a hiring fair and live show. Join us for Tony McGee as he hosts his second Veterans Job Fair as part of his show, Pro Football Plus, with Charles Mann, Dexter Manley, Santana Moss, and Gary Clark. Celebrating more than 30 years of broadcasting excellence, Pro Football Plus is an excellent platform to gain positive exposure in the local area. Meet qualified veterans, transitioning soldiers, and their spouses. In order to get involved, call this number, 703-282-0792. If you're a business and you want to be part of this job fair, this is the only place to go, so call now. You know, Adam, I want to know exactly what it's going to take for the Washington Redskins to beat the Chargers, but there's one fact that we cannot ignore, and that is the Chargers are second in the NFL in passing. And that is a daunting task for a secondary that got burned against Dallas.
They are. And you know what? They have three things they have to do. Number one, no turnovers. Number two, contain Keenan Allen. And number three, protect Kirk Cousins and contain Joey Bosa. You do those three things, you beat the Chargers on Sunday.
What about it, Donna?
Yeah, the Chargers are a much better team in the last 3 or 4 games. I mean, they got a great passing game. Defense is really good. The Redskins just have to play their ball. I mean, they've got to, the pressure up front, and they've got to be able to run the ball.
Mm-hmm. Gary, what do you think?
Just win.
Just win. They can still be in the hunt, can't they?
Yep.
Well, you heard it here, Tone. That's how we see it.
It takes hard work, grit, and determination to become a professional football player like Luke Kuechly. But it only takes 15 minutes to see how much you could save on car insurance with Geico.
Ah, the Ravens, never fleeting, still are winning, still are winning. But when the pests come knocking at your door, and the bees that bumble sound like the roar of the stadium's rumble.
Touchdown!
And you see the ants and roaches creeping and crawling as the moonlight hits the floor. Have no fear, for PMSI will rid you of those pests to scamper and scatter on your floor. Once they treat, nevermore.
Hey, Tony, what is up? You know how they say one man's trash is another man's treasure? With that in mind, let's talk about Kirk Cousins, my quarterback. The man they're always dumping on in Washington, D.C. I like Kirk. I think he's a decent quarterback. And if the Dallas Cowboys did not have Dak Prescott, I would take Kirk Cousins. But I don't think he'll be back in Washington next season. So he'll be in one of 3 places. The initials B, A, or D. B, Buffalo. But maybe not, because by the time Kirk releases the ball, he'll be frozen like a statue, like a buffalo chicken wing. A, Arizona, maybe, because they have a great quarterback guru in Bruce Arians, but they may be on a youth movement. So the only other place for Kirk to go next season, and this will turn them into a Super Bowl team instantly, would be D, the Denver Broncos. It would be kind of like the revenge of John Elway. Remember what happened back in Super Bowl 22 when Doug Williams and the Skins ran all over the Broncos? Well, John will take your trash, make it into a treasure, and get the Broncos back in the playoffs. As for this week, the LA Chargers are in the playoff hunt. And the Redskins, they'll be waving the white towel after the game is over, saying, let's get on with next season, because they will be 5-8. But do me a favor. Protect my quarterback. Protect him. That's my quarterback. He's my quarterback.
In the spirit of giving, and as the year comes to an end, please consider my foundation, Hopkins Breast Cancer Incorporation, a 501c3 charitable foundation here in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area that aids in helping those that's going through breast cancer. Come and be a part of a great team with your gift of any amount. What a wonderful way to share holiday cheer and hope with those going through breast cancer. Make an impact. Tell your friends and family and supporters that you're changing lives by donating to helping those going through cancer. Please visit my website at www.hopkinsbcinc, the helping hand in the cancer community.
Welcome to this week's Sports Bar Challenge. In this week's game, we have the Ravens traveling to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. Crystal City Restaurant likes the Steelers. Crystal City Sports Pub likes the Steelers. Greavy's likes the Steelers. Outback likes the Steelers. Hard Times likes the Steelers. And Harry's Ale House likes the Steelers. Look for this to be a tough, hard-fought game between two very physical teams. But I like Pittsburgh here. Take the Steelers at home.
We're proud to announce Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Scholarship Contest is back yet again this year. Eligible candidates will receive laptops if indeed your composition is selected. If you are a graduating high school senior, send in your composition. The subject this year is what can your generation do to impact how social media has affected our nation's security? So get those essays in. This week on What's Bugging You, NFL fans, we have Zach with us from PMSI. And Zach, this is the time of year where you see spiders, you see snakes trying to make their way into your house, even little rodents. What is going on with that? Is it they're searching for some warm climate?
That's exactly it. I mean, they've had food outside their entire lives up to this point. Now it's getting cold and they need to fend for themselves. And the perfect place they can find food is your garbage, your house, your pizza sitting out there, and they're going to take it. They're smart like that. So we definitely at PMSI need to make sure to get those out of your house. And I mean, one female mouse, one female rodent can come into your house, have 8 babies, and a month later, another 8. So 3 months, you have 24 rats, mice, rodents inside your house. No one wants that. No one wants to know about it, but that's the ugly truth in this world.
Yeah, when I had a bigger house, now I have a small house. A company like yours, I should have had yours, would come around the house and they would put these stakes all around the house to try to, I guess, discourage any rodents or things from coming in. Do they still do that? Do they work?
Yeah, we have rodent bait stations to get them on the outside. We kind of want to set a barrier outside around your house to keep them from coming in. But if they are inside, we can put those in there as well. And once we're there, they won't be. So that's the key to us.
You'll sleep tight.
Yes.
With all your
Won't
might.
let the bed bugs bite.
Who's your guest this week?
My guest this week is Sharon.
What's bugging me is that more and more every day the NFL is reflecting what's going on in the country, and that's divisiveness. I can't stand that the owners and the players, the team players within one another, there's just so much division, and I think that it sets a bad example for the children. This is America's game, and we need to come together as a team for the children. That's what's bugging me.
Thanks, Sharon. It's great having Sharon Sanders, Ricky Sanders' wife, help us out today. I completely understand. When you want to watch a football game, that's what you want to watch, a football game. And a lot of people don't need the politics and all that extra stuff. We just want to see our team win, and we want to see them win big.
Well said. All right, that's this week on What's Bugging You Around the NFL. Fans, get started. Hey, we're going to take a little break here, have some food, talk some football with Mike Dunqua. He is the general manager over at the Hard Times Cafe in Fairfax. And Michael, 'tis the season to be jolly and to eat. Well, maybe not for the Skins to celebrate, but nonetheless, it's football season, and you probably have a lot of patrons coming in this time of year.
Yes, we do. We do. Everybody keeps saying the Skins are not doing too well. It's okay. I mean, we got to fight for the rest of the season and make something happen out of it. It's NFL. Everybody's trying hard, but we've got to work a little harder, and I'm sure we'll be on the good side at the end of the season.
You know, they roll the Chargers this week. And
yes,
they win
do.
Their last 4 games at 9-7. You know my philosophy? You never know. It's never over until the last game is played.
It's never over until the last game. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, the Redskins got all the pieces. They can put everything together.
I agree with you.
It's going to gel. We've got we don't have that many games to go, but I believe strongly he's going to gel, and then at the end we'll be fine.
I get the feeling there's a core of nasty players on this team that I really love on offense and defense, and that next year's going to be their special year. But we'll see. You know, they may sneak in at 9-7. Tell me about the holidays at Hard Times Cafe in Fairfax.
Holiday season at Hard Times Cafe, it's always a fun place to be. We've got all kinds of specials going on, especially for NFL football games. We've got drink special, food specials. Sundays, that's the place to be.
Sundays, it's the place to be.
It's the place to
It's a
be.
big
Not just
place.
Sundays. Thursday night football, Monday night football. Come over. We've got specials, and it's always a good place to be to catch all the games.
So tell me what you got here. You have Paul's favorite. These are gluten-free wings.
Wings, yes. Our
Wow.
buffalo wings are, one to die for. Everybody that comes out to Hard Times knows that's pretty well for our wings. Very good wings, gluten-free, just like you said. So,
And my favorite, the Santa Fe chicken salad.
Santa Fe salad.
Oh my, it is an amazing salad.
It really is. A torch salad, pretty good. Everybody who tries it loves
Michael, it's
it.
not
Everybody
pretty.
who's tried
Michael,
it loves
it's
it.
not pretty good. It is amazing. It's one of the best salads I've ever
I'm
had.
glad
in
you
America.
enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad
I mean,
you
I come
enjoyed
in
it.
just for that.
Yeah.
And of course, this looks like Cincinnati.
Yes, Chili Mac.
Yes.
What is Hard Times Cafe without chili? Our famous Cincinnati three-way Chili Mac. You've got your spaghetti, your chili, and then your cheese and cornbread to go with it. Of course, we've got three other types of chili. So come over there. We'll sample it for you. You figure out which one you like best and enjoy.
Before we wrap it up, you have something planned for New Year's?
Yes, we do. Our New Year toast.
Okay.
Hard Times special. Fun place to be. Fun place to be.
Well, if you can't be in Santa Fe, the only place to be is at Hard Times Cafe.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mike, God bless you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming on. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you. Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Hire a Veteran Challenge and Live Show. It's coming up on Monday, December 11th, 2017. It's got a hiring fair and live show. Join us for Tony McGee as he hosts his second Veterans Job Fair as part of his show, Pro Football Plus, with Charles Mann, Dexter Manley, Santana Moss, and Gary Clark. Celebrating more than 30 years of broadcasting excellence, Pro Football Plus is an excellent platform to gain positive exposure in the local area. Meet qualified veterans, transitioning soldiers, and their spouses. In order to get involved, call this number, 703-282-0792. If you're a business and you want to be part of this job fair, this is the only place to go, so call now.
Usually during this time of the week, I give my tip and I give it to the team. Usually in this time of the year when they haven't done so well, I'll be telling them to play for your job. But now I'm telling you to play for your family's job as well. Because all of us on the line right now, and you put it that way, and you're a professional and you got to play. So for another week and another time out of the playoffs, I'm going to say in a minute.